Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to EdUp on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. This is a under the weather Dr. Joe Salustio back with you on another episode. My voice doesn't sound like this. If you know that you listen to this podcast, you know it's at least 3 octaves higher, as my co-host, first-time co-host, told me today. I'll bring her in a second. For whatever reason, and then just to tell a quick story, I had my eyes dilated today. So not only can I not talk, I can't see. And so my voice is going up and down like I'm going through puberty, and my eyes don't work. So it's a confluence of events taking place. But my guest is so awesome. I'm like, there's zero chance I'm going to reschedule this episode. The show must go on. But I told my first-time guest co-host that she's going to have to carry. Usually I take it easy on my guest co-host the first time, but this time she's going to have to carry some of the load. But I know she's prepared for it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring her in right now. She is the one and only Christy Siegel. She is VP of Business Development at EdUp. And Christy, finally, welcome to an EdUp mic. How are you?
I am well, and I can't say how excited that my first co-host gig is with Dr. Devin Stephenson.
Oh, you did it. Christy, you made the mistake that all first-time co-hosts make, which is to talk about the guest before I introduce them. And I never prepare my guest co-host for it because it's always a coin flip bet for me to see if so we'll bring him in now. Ladies and gentlemen, he's Dr. Devin Stephenson. He is the president at Florida Polytechnic University.
Oh, yeah. Great to
Devin,
be
what's
with you
going
today.
on?
Hello from Central Florida. A beautiful day in Florida, and we're not under the weather like you, Joe. We are under great blue skies, the sun's shining, the alligators are crawling along with the herons and the swans in Swan City here. It is a great day in Florida, a great day to be alive.
I did hear alligators.
I think that would be extraordinarily dangerous.
It would be extraordinarily dangerous, but that's a part of our ecosystem here at Florida Poly, the newest state university in Florida, where we have multiple alligators named after by our STEM students. You know, the one in the South Pond is integral, and the one in the North Pond is derivative. So they come in like 3 feet long, and then once they get 6 to 7 feet long, we take them out, and it's like they repopulate. You know how it is.
I bet they do.
So it's pretty crazy here, but it's a wonderful habitat, and we're excited to be here.
Well, as we do with every guest, we'll assume that there's a listener out there that hasn't come across Florida Poly before. So set the stage for us. Tell us, Florida Polytechnic University, who do you serve? How do you serve them?
If you're finding value in these conversations, consider supporting Elvin and Joe. As a supporter, you'll get early ad-free access, plus exclusive leadership-focused content. It's only $5.99 a month or $44.99 a year. You can also donate or even gift a subscription to a colleague at edupexperience.com. That's edupexperience.com.
Sure. We are the newest state university, public university in the state of Florida. So we just celebrated a decade, 10-year birthday, really, here at the institution. Our entire focus is on science, technology, engineering, and math. We are very strongly committed to those areas that lead to extremely high demand, high wage positions as engineering, AI engineers, cybersecurity, data analysts, all of those things that are associated with STEM. We're located in Lakeland, Florida, which is really halfway between Tampa and Orlando, right on I-4. And we have the most iconic building in higher ed. We have one of the most iconic buildings in the world. In fact, it was named one of the 16 most beautiful buildings designed by Santiago Calatrava, the great Spanish architect. You drive by it, 1 minute you think it's a spaceship. Some people think it looks like an egg beater. Others think it looks like a mega church. But it is one more fine facility, and people come from all over the world to see it. It's the centerpiece, the cornerstone of this absolutely wonderful forward-thinking institution.
Amazing. It looks like a spaceship for sure. Yeah.
I think you do okay in a mega church too with that pulpit that you speak from, Dr. Stephenson.
Let me assure you, it is a great pulpit from which to speak. I can tell you that. We're so distinctive. and so exclusive when you really think about it. Our students have the highest income levels 1 year after graduation of any state university in the state of Florida, with the lowest amount of debt. We're also we need applause for that. Don't you have some applause? Come on, Joe.
I got coins.
Right,
I got coins.
We're ranked like number one public institution in the Southeast. Wallet Hub ranks us very high in affordability and cost effectiveness. So the markings are out there, the rankings are out there. Our students come here because they have their mind made up what they want to do, and we provide them the tools to go out and become what we like to call change makers. They are change makers.
Speaking of which, Christy, when you, by the way, you are such a great colleague of mine at Lucy, and we love working together. Or at least I love working with you. I don't know if you like working with me, but you don't need to say. It's fine. When you said, I got a really dynamic president that I want you to meet, Dr. Stephenson, Devin, was every bit as dynamic as you said he was. And you've known him for a long time, right?
Yes. Well, definitely over a decade or more. But we've met along his journey, and this particular piece of your journey is pretty new, right? You're not even up on your 1 year anniversary.
Yes, I'm 11 months in, and what's interesting, I spent my entire career in the 2-year sector in community and state colleges, and then this position opened up last year. I applied, went through the process, and you're sort of unsure. When you've spent that much time in a sector that has a specific role, very transformational, very responsive, very agile to the world around it, what it's going to be like, because we've heard for years that that universities are just slow to move. We move very slowly, but differently than many others. This institution was created with a model of being an economic driver. So it's very tightly aligned with business and industry. And we modify that curriculum. We stay close to those advisory committees, making sure that we are in touch with reality, that we remain relevant, and that here's the key, and that we operate at the speed of business. And that's what our leadership has to do if we're going to be on what I call the bleeding edge. Some people, Joe, like to live on the cutting edge, but that's not close enough. My mother said, if you don't live on the edge, you're taking up too much room. So I want to live on that bleeding edge where things are happening and we're making a significant impact. That's what we do.
Well, and you did that at your last institution, Northwest Florida State, transformational, watching the decade that I saw you do what you do there. I know that that's fed you, and I think you should be you should be very proud of the work that you did at that institution and the voice of community colleges, technical schools, and their impact on the workforce.
It was a phenomenal, almost a decade there. Over $73 million in external grants, multiple tens of million dollars from the state for infrastructure and programmatic advancement. Top JUCO athletic program in America, phenomenal performing arts. Of course, I'm a classically trained pianist, so having that first class Northwest Florida Symphony Orchestra there and being able to play with them was phenomenal. So the work there, I think, prepared me for this work, to think forward, not to think back. Oftentimes we want to continually look back. But I figured out pretty quick that if you continue to look back, you'll trip into your future. And so that's the very reason that when we're driving an automobile, the windshield is so much bigger than the rearview mirror. We're supposed to be looking forward more than we look back. But we do look back for a reference point. And there are many days here, Christy's one of my favorite people of all time. She's just phenomenal, always energetic. All time. That's right. But it helps me to look back. Here to make decisions. I think you always have to have that reference point so that you don't make a mistake or you mitigate the mistakes or shortcomings or failures that could be out there because you do use the past as a reference point. But those times were great. I learned a lot. But it's as they say, times are changing. Times are changing in higher ed. Times are changing in Florida. There are things that are occurring that are having us as administrators not to look so much as what was or even what is now, but what is to come and how that we get ready for that. And I want to give you one quick example. I don't know how much I'm supposed to talk, but one of the most salient points. Okay, it helps you, Joe.
It's helping me big time. You better believe it.
But at the recent eLive event, which was my second to go to, I had an opportunity to participate with you and Christy and your colleagues in the President's Council, which was absolutely phenomenal. There were lots of things in there, lots of tidbits that I gathered. And one of the things that one of the speakers talked about was preparing for the future. And, that we have to be change leaders. But I realized, first of all, that it's not so much about preparing the future as it is creating a culture that will respond and react to the future. It's the culture. Who is the writer that said that culture will eat strategy for breakfast? And that is true. If you don't have the right culture, it doesn't matter what strategy you have, what plans you have. The culture will literally crush it. It will eat it alive. And so I really believe that from that conference, from that President's Council, it gave me new insight on how important it is that I work as a president to build a culture that will accept change, that will respond to change, that will react to change in a very positive way. So thank you both for having that event and for allowing me to be a part of the President's Council, because it really opened my mind and my eyes to what is to come.
Well, and we couldn't have asked for a first inaugural class as diverse as we got at the event, including your voice and the other voices. And maybe that's a good segue into top of mind right now because of what Florida Poly is and how you're preparing the students that you have is AI. I just spent 3 days at an AI conference held by our owners, Vista Equity. And oh my gosh, if you aren't living, breathing, speaking, and playing the piano to AI, I don't know what you're doing because it's everywhere. It's so prevalent. And Devin, you said you're preparing these students with low debt, high opportunity to go out and make great salaries in the first year. Obviously, AI is a big piece of that. You want to speak to that in terms of your strategy right now?
Yeah, sure. We're trying to become, well, we're not trying. I remember that third Star Wars movie, Yoda looking across that little swamp at Luke Skywalker, and he said, "There is no try."
Says, do or do not. There is no try.
Do or do not. There is no
try.
So I've abandoned the try. And I've told our people that sit around the strategy circle, I don't have a president's cabinet, Joe. I have a strategy circle. That's what I call
it.
Because we strategize about, what can be and how we move. But AI has been a big part of what we're talking about. So what we did 11 months ago, I came in and I asked our IT people, we had to do two things. We had to put, first of all, guardrails around AI. And we had to develop a philosophy and present those guardrails around two things, both the IT component of the institution and around the academic part of the institution. So we immediately did that. We created what we call the Phoenix AI Suite. Our mascot is the Phoenix. We rise from the ashes. We reinvent ourselves every 5 to 7 years, or we think sooner, quicker. But we put the guardrails around it. And this fall, we are rolling out the complete Phoenix AI Suite. And here's what we did. We know that AI can become the thing that people lean on to do their work, which is a wrong approach as far as allowing it to be you. It can't be you. Our philosophy here is that AI is a, quote, thought partner, end quote. So it has now become something that resides alongside us like a sidecar, but helps us do our work better. It helps students do their work better. It's really funny. Last night, our president's strategy circle, we got in some kind of discussion in text, and someone said, "Oh, this sounds like one of those Stephenson moments." And they went into AI real quick and created a Stephenson bobblehead that actually looked like me. Yeah, it actually looked like me. It's funny because we just did the Star Wars thing. I was in my typical navy blue suit holding a lightsaber.
You gotta tell that though. You gotta tell the whole story though when you're done. You gotta give us the whole.
You have to give us it. Yeah.
Okay. But nevertheless, they created it, popped it up on the text, and I'm thinking, how in the world did you do that? So then the next member of the strategy circle actually took every member of the strategy circle, put us around a table as if we're meeting, and called it the bobbleheads. I can't remember what they said, or some research heads or something. But they were using AI to create these images. We do use AI quite a bit. For example, we just recently had interviews for our chief development officer, and we gave them instructions on what to do to create a video that was their first segue into the interview process. And so I created it here in my office here in Central Florida, and I asked AI, make this document look really nice with timelines and points of emphasis. And I was amazed at what it did. But it became a thought partner, Joe, Christy. It didn't do the work for me. It just made what I did better. It streamlined it. It made it, and I told it, make it clear where there's no misunderstanding of the timelines and what's to be voiced. So I do believe that AI is vital. It is going to be required, but we've got to teach people to use it responsibly so that it doesn't take the place of the human element that is so important into all of our work.
The other, and we'll get to, I want you to talk about your graduation, but I was actually having this conversation yesterday with another president, and we were talking about using directions to go somewhere. And we were talking about, you go on your phone and you put in the directions, and it might even be the same place that you go 10 times, and you still pull up those directions. And then you realize that this place, or at least I did, this place that I'm taking my daughter for soccer practice, it's only 4 miles from my house. I actually still don't know how to get there, because every single time I'm relying upon the AI essentially, and I'm not conscious of the learning. Like, I need to be able to get there without my phone one day.
That's right. That's right.
Where sometimes we're going to become reliant upon AI, and it's our job as higher ed administrators to say, augment what you're doing, but you still have to learn it. You still have to know how to do these things, right?
That's it. That's exactly right. And I'll be honest, for us, it's our greatest fear that students will lean on it to the point that they don't become proficient. And here's the problem with that is if you're in a controlled environment, this is like doing a research project where you have a control group and treatment group. If you're in a controlled environment and you're using, this is speaking right to your point, and you're using AI and it's controlled, that's well and good. But what if you are in a situation where it's not controlled and you don't have the tools? You're exactly on point. How does that person respond or react to that when they don't have the device in their hand? So we can never replace, in my opinion, the human element of all of this and the human interaction of all of this as we're beginning to make decisions that are going to impact us for years and decades to come. So you're exactly right.
Yeah, you wonder how many people could still stop at a gas station, buy a map, actually use a map to get around, and fold it back together, which has got to be impossible these days for people.
There are people, I mean, they can't even read a map.
Yeah.
Impossible to read a map. It sort of reminds me of back when I was in school, which was a long time ago. We were hooked on phonics. We did the phonetical spelling, and then 2 years later, my sister came along. They had removed phonics from the learning system. She has had much more difficulty, even though she's extremely bright, wonderful leader, but in spelling, because of the lack of that phonics piece in her life. So I think We cannot allow this to be able to dictate what might be for someone that's thrown in a situation where they don't have it, they don't have access to it. We still have to mature people into their own thinking critically and analytically for the future.
Absolutely.
Christy.
Well, one of the things that I love about your leadership style, Devin, is the fact that you're so accessible as a leader and administrator. And one of the things that I love seeing, and you posted, is the pop-up president's offices that you do.
I thought you might ask about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen, because I went to school a few years ago.
Go.
I never knew who the president of my university was at the time I was going there. So talk about the pop-ups.
Yeah. So when I came here, the deal was, as you know, these students are very bright engineers. I mean, they're very bright. I did not come from a STEM background as such. My undergraduate degree is in business. So I learned how to put the pieces of an organization together. And then from there, all of my graduate degrees are in the administration of higher ed. How technically we put finance, strategic planning, academic programs, relationship building, government, politics, all of that together to create a very strong institution. And so I knew when I got here, I had to learn what this student body was like. The student body at Northwest Florida was completely different, very much more eclectic when it came to the majors, because we had so many majors, nursing and respiratory therapy. You could go into sports training. You could go into teacher education. Here, it's pretty well spelled out. You've got a defined number. I'm looking right now at our undergraduate degrees, 12 of them. We've got 5 graduate degrees, and they're all specific in engineering, mechanical, civil, chemical, those things, that electrical, that are really well defined. I needed to get to know the students. So I set up the office at first, and the way I do it is I get out of my office here on the northwest corner of the IST building and move out to a spot that normally students would not see me. We table drape it. We've got these pull-up banners, and it says, "Pop-up President's Office, come talk to me." And then the table is full of toys that they could play in their rooms in our brand new residence halls. And so they come by, and I say, "Oh, you need this toy, or you'd enjoy this." They love playing cards. They love playing cards. I'm just telling you, they love them. And so we fill the table. They come by, and the students, I've done 3 this year. I've only been here 11 months, but I've done 3 of these. It's become one of the most popular things I do. The other thing I do is I put this president's pen, it's a magnetic president's pen, on the table and encourage students to take them. Now it's the thing on campus to have one of these president's pen. Either you're wearing it as a student or it's on your backpack.
Oh, and then it's like, oh, you didn't get a president's pin yet? You better get the pop-up.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
It. And so here it is. After the pop-up, here's what I do. If you want a president's pin or one of the new President's Challenge coins, which we just produced, you got to come see me in my office. So it forces students to come to my office and see me. And they, as my grandmother used to say, they will come in droves. We'll have 6, 8 at a time wanting the challenge coin or the president's pin. And here's the deal for me. I want to be the president for our personnel and for our students. I want to be a friend to them. I want them to be to know they can be approachable, that I'm approachable and they can approach me. That's very important to me. And so by bringing them into the office, by having these pins and giving them out, listen, Christy, I bet I've given 100 of these away when I'm out on the campus and I see someone and they don't have one. I say, "Do you have a president's pin?" "No, I don't." I'll take it off and give that one to them. Epic. So it's a way that I can connect. And I think that is so important. Many presidents sort of get lost in the business of being a president and not the people business of being a president. So I do the old management by walking around. I go out into the buildings, and the first time I did it with faculty, scared them to death because the president had really not spent much time. I just go knock on the door and I say, "Oh, you did tell us when you were interviewing you would be coming by, and here you are." And so that's exactly what I've done. I've really tried to get to know them and let them know I care. There's an old saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that is just critical. It's critical for me. So I like to be people oriented, and I want people to know that I really care about their future.
The first challenge coin I ever received in my life was from you at Northwest Florida. So I too need a president's pen. So I will have to, Joe and I will have to, we both. Yeah. Well, we're coming. We're going to be down there.
Boom. Yeah.
One of the things you said stands out. And that's that you get caught up in doing the business, which is great, right? Because we talk about how higher ed is a business. So you're a president, you need to be in the business. But by doing the people business, you're actually doing the business. That's where your revenue is. That's where your retention is. That's your customer. Customer service is a real thing in higher education. I tell people this when it comes up, but my dissertation I wrote about psychological contracts is my theoretical framework, where you come in with this contract. I'm a student. You're my mentors. You're my university. And then when you don't do me right, like I could go somewhere else. I can, and it's not even like I go to the school down the road. I could go to UK. I could take an online course. So there's just so much choice. We have to do a really good job at making the students feel home, like they belong, but also that they are being serviced, right?
Stay ahead of the conversation in higher ed. Get early, ad-free access, and exclusive leadership content by supporting Elvin and Joe. $5.99 per month or $44.99 a year. You can also donate or gift a subscription at edupexperience.com. That's edupexperience.com.
That is true. And here is the deal. When I talk about doing the business of the president, I think we've placed too much emphasis on this being an education business.
Yes.
You said it. It is a people business. And, I often get asked, and this came up in the interview here, how would you define student success? And my first thought has always been, it's not what I say. Student success is what the students say it is. Bottom line, if they have a good experience with you, statistics and data research shows that they'll tell about 5 people. But if they have a bad experience, they'll tell at least 17 people. We know that. So it behooves us, as you said earlier, for students to have a great experience when they come here, for them to know that they're valued and they're going to be taken care of, that the parents need to know that this is a safe place and we're going to educate them, and the dollars they invest in us are going to be well worth it. And so I think when we lose sight as a president that this is a people business is when we become not as effective. We just don't seem to get it as much. When I came here, one of the things the board wanted me to do was be more engaged in the community. To be, I have a great office here. It's wonderful. I've got all the technology I need, but there's nothing like being out and about and working with people, both internally, that intrinsic factor that we have here, but their extrinsic factor, that external factor of working with influencers, business leaders, economic developers, other educators is critically important. And so that's why I've been out and meeting one-on-one. I've spent a lot of time doing that. It helps me to know, I'm a big proponent of Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence. So I believe not only do you have to self-manage yourself, but you got to do very, very, very deep environmental scanning, constantly assessing what's going on in the environment and being able to be responsive. That's part of the change leadership that I think makes a good, effective president a good, effective president.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Well,
that's good.
Speaking of change, and no one is on top of change as much as you are in so many ways. I know you are a board member for SACS. the accrediting body for the Southern Association. They just recently named a new leader after 20 years of an iconic leader in the South. And we've got a lot going on with the accrediting bodies right now, as we talked about at the President's Council. What's your take on that change?
Good. I'm glad you asked. Just so you know, I served on the selection committee. I was chosen by SAC-COC to be on the selection committee for our new president, who is Stephen Pruitt, who's going to be phenomenal. Right now, he leads the Southern Region Education Board, SREB, in Atlanta. He is phenomenal, and he would be a great person to have on this podcast. Believe me, he is outstanding.
Hook it up for us.
Yeah, we need an intro.
He'll love it.
Okay.
You can count on that. He and I talked yesterday. I'm bringing him to Florida to meet with the commissioner and the chancellor here. But accreditation to me is extremely valuable. I still serve as a chair of visiting committees. I just got back from Galveston. This coming year, I'll be in Texas again, and then I'll be chairing the accreditation for the University of Virginia. So I'm very actively involved in accreditation. I think it's invaluable. There have been a lot of spears, a lot of darts thrown at accreditation. And while it's not perfect, I do believe that the peer evaluation process is invaluable to quality at institutions. If we didn't have those principles, those 78, 75 principles and standards and core requirements, then I'm thinking that, to be frank, we would find institutions much further off the rails than they are now. The principles and the standards keep institutions marching down this whole idea of continuous improvement. And, back 2-3 decades ago, we weren't thinking about that. We weren't thinking about, quote, institutional effectiveness. Now it's a part of all the things that we do. When we developed our new strategic plan, we thought of that continuous improvement piece. And so what we did, we developed a strategic plan. We just launched it, just got it approved by the Board of Governors, an assessment plan that goes along with the strategic plan. So we're marking our successes right down the path, and we're analyzing them. We have that cadence of accountability. We are big with Stephen Covey's 4 disciplines of execution. And so we have a cadence of accountability. We mark our successes. And that's a part of the fabric and the organic nature, the ecosystem of accreditation. So I do believe in it. I've just been a proponent of it my entire career. And I think we'll eventually get it right. There's a lot of talk now. I think there'll be new accreditors coming into the environment, and we'll just see how things go. I think you're going to have more, as I see it, and believe me, I tell everybody I'm not a fortune teller, but I sometimes I feel like I'm a prophet in a nonprofit organization. I do think that we'll see a bigger marketplace among accreditors. And now, with some recent rulings within the last couple of years, institutions can sort of, I hate to use the word cherry pick, but be able to be more selective to accreditors that meet their standards. I love what SAC-COC does. I like what the Higher Learning Commission does. There are others. Your person with Middle States that came to ELIVE was absolutely terrific. But you've got to have the rigor. The peer evaluation part of accreditation to me is valuable. And so I think it's here. I don't think accreditation is going to go away, because we do have to maintain some sense of here's what it takes to be a quality education institution.
Yeah, there's other parts of it too that go understated that I think that are worth saying since we're talking about it. For anybody that's not ever been on a visit, the amount of professional development you can get from a visit is unmatched, because you get to see everything from a perspective that most people don't, right? Because there aren't a lot of people that do visits, and when you do them, you go, whoa, this school's doing this amazingly. I could take a piece of this and I can re-implement it. Now I go back to my institution, and the quality of my institution gets better because I'm seeing somebody who maybe did something more effective. or I see it not being done the way it needs to be done. And the notice that we provide in those visits is do it better. Like, look, you're doing pretty good, but it just needs to be tweaked a little bit. And that's right. Incremental improvement. So there's a professional development piece. There's a reverse quality piece. And those just go, we don't talk about those things a lot because not everybody, if you look at the number of people who do accreditation visits, it's a very, very small grouping of higher ed professionals.
And let me say, Joe, I've got presidents that are close friends of mine, colleagues, who will say to me, I just don't want to go on those. I don't like that. And I don't know if it's because they don't like to write. It helps me, it keeps me on the ball with writing and analyzing the problem. Yep. But they will say, I'm not going to get into that. And here's my response. Out of all the things I do, that accreditation visit and working with it is if it's not the best, it's at the top of professional development experiences for me. It's at the top. I've learned more by going to other institutions. You will pick up some little tidbit, as you said earlier, of things that you could do to make your institution better. So it has been, I think I'm 11 visits I've chaired. I've got 2 more this coming year. So it's just absolutely phenomenal. It's great work and a great learning experience and a great professional development experience. No question.
Let's talk about this graduation, Christy. What do you think?
Yeah. And since you said earlier that you move at the speed of business, well, I think you move at the speed of light. So let's talk about what happened with the lightsabers this weekend.
Wait.
Yeah.
Execute Order 66.
All right, just to get it ready.
Hey, you got it right. So we began looking at the date. We selected Sunday, May the 4th. And very soon after I came here, I told our people I want to retool commencement somewhat so that it's themed. It's got a thematic thing to it, and that the students would never forget. Because if I were to ask you who spoke at your graduation or at your commencement, I don't know that you could tell me, and I'm not sure either of you could tell me what they said. And so it becomes, oh yeah, I remember wearing that cap and gown. I hated that cap, and I don't want to have to do that again. But I celebrated the completion. So what we decided to do was play on the theme of Star Wars, and it was Star Wars Day. So we bought 500 toy type lightsabers. Now, these weren't the real cheap ones. These are actually rechargeable. They do multiple things. They change color. They make noise, all of those things. And we decided that we would wait to the end, and traditionally where they drop confetti or drop balloons or something like that, we will announce the graduates, have them move their tassels from the right to the left, and then I will end it by saying something like, "May the 4th be with you." And when I raise my lightsaber, all the lights in the hall go down, and that is the cue for the students to turn their lightsabers on. So we have the stage full of lightsabers. All the students in this large arena have lightsabers. They're waving them. It gives me chill bumps to talk about it today. But it cemented that moment. They will not forget that. They won't forget it. And so it became, the crowd was going crazy. And so we decided to add one little touch. Oh, and by the way, when I lifted my lightsaber up, we had the lightsaber sound effect that Darth Vader that roaring.
I probably have it somewhere, right. But yeah.
The whoosh.
So it was swooshing while we had people that were fighting with their lightsabers a little bit. It was great. But we decided to change the recessional to the Imperial March. And so we went out of the building with the Imperial March. So it was crazy. It was just crazy.
And it made the national news.
It made national news. It was on Inside Higher Ed. All of the regional media here in Orlando and Tampa took it. I forget, I haven't even seen the impressions it made on social media, but it did make national news. So we're excited about that. And now our people are saying, all right, we've established this. We've got to have a, quote, hook every year. There's got to be a hook somehow with commencement. And our people are very bright, and we will figure that out. But we want it to be a memorable occasion, not one that so many people forget.
They won't forget that one, but I'm just wondering what happens when graduation's on Cinco de Mayo.
That's what we're talking about right now.
My little marketing brain went right there. So
you got it. So watch out next year.
As they say,
Do or do not. There is no try.
There is no try. I like it.
There is no try.
Right.
I do. I think this actually, I can't remember this coming up on the podcast before, over 1,100 episodes, but I do. This is an important topic because commencements many times are performative. We do them so much in higher ed. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with that go, oh, God, we got commencement coming up. Oh, another commencement. Oh, I hate commencement. What can we cut? What can we cut out of this agenda so we can get it down in under an hour? Let's have if we can get it down in under an hour, we're having a party, because it's so great. We can get it in under an hour. And it's like, well, wait a minute. These people put 4 years of time into this. What can we do to make it better? Not cut.
That's right.
Not just do it because we're performative, but how do we? So you think about that. There's 20 years from now, somebody's going to be sitting at a table playing with those cards you gave out, saying, I had a lightsaber at my graduation, and the person they're saying that to is going to say, what are you talking about? Right. So this could be a lifelong story that's told. I think we do a disservice sometimes to students because we do them so often, commencement, but we forget. This is the crowning achievement. We don't treat it with the respect it deserves sometimes. I think, because I can't tell you how many times somebody has made a comment to me over years in higher ed. Oh, commencement.
No, I've heard that
you're
too.
exact. Oh yeah, many times. And if you just look at it as rote, going through a process. This is just rote. This is what here we are again. I think that creates sort of this lethargic approach, or okay, here it is again. But if it's an event, if it's special, then it lives. And it can't be just a regular event like a baccalaureate or some other thing. I mean, it's got to be special in a way. So we did a lot of things technologically with live streaming. We redesigned all our robes. In fact, to me they look like a sequel out of Harry Potter. We added color on the sleeves. Every graduate got a commencement medallion. You had to participate to get it. So it was on. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was on point in every way. Great support from the faculty, and our board chair, I think, helped lead the charge. She said, this is the favorite day of the year for me. I love our board meetings. I love the students to come. I love to hear about the faculty research. But this is the day that culminates, as you said, all of that work. And here's another thing, Joe. How many of those students, and we would have fewer probably than maybe some because we have very strong parental support for our students. They're extremely bright. They come from really fine homes. We have that, lots of students that are economically and educationally disadvantaged, just like everybody else does. But I watched as they walked across the stage. And even though 93% of our students come from Florida, there's a lot of diversity here. And they would come and it would say on their stole, first generation. So I'm thinking, how many parents or grandparents may be sitting out here that never had, and they're watching. This is the first generation. This may be the individual that turns the tide for the family, that breaks the cycle, and really starts people thinking in that family what can be. And so for me, it's special, extremely special. And I always want to make it special. If you acquiesce to it being ritual or rote, then you're not going to get that that feeling. And, we always talk about, we got to think cognitively about it. Let me tell you, thinking emotionally from the heart about it is really where we are. That's what educators should, I think, making decisions from the heart and cognitively, it's a combined thing. You have to do them both. Never losing sight of, we take people from one place and higher ed moves them to another place. And we make meaningful contributors to society. We make good citizens out of these people. And so I never want to lose sight of that. And I want that event, even though it's commencement and signals somewhat an end, it's just the beginning. We're commencing to something great. And as long as I'm here, we'll always build it around that.
That's the power of a degree. Christy.
Power of a degree.
I was just saying, I'm heading to a graduation today. I'm getting on a flight when we're wrapping up to head to my niece's graduation tomorrow. I love them. I love graduations, as I just find them as thrilling as they always were. And I can't remember who my speaker was, obviously, but I wish I'd had a lightsaber because I would have remembered that.
That's right.
When you go back and get that doctorate, Christy, Devin and I will be there.
Yeah,
Joe's working on me.
You can count on it. That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Devin, we want to wrap it up. We always like to give you an open mic. What else do you want to say about Florida Poly that you'd like the audience to know? And then tell us what you see for the future of higher education.
Support the podcast trusted by higher ed leaders. Get early, ad-free access, and exclusive leadership content by supporting Elvin and Joe for only $5.99 a month or $44.99 a year. You can also donate or gift a subscription at edupexperience.com. That's edupexperience.com.
Sure. For Florida Poly, we are on a major growth run right now. If you look at the statistics, I can't talk today. I guess I'm tired. Long week. At the statistics, over the last 10 years, institutions that have been defined as polytechnic institutions, and this is a recent study by EAB, show that we've had an increase in enrollment of about 16%. As compared to comprehensive institutions, this is nationwide, of about 4%. So people keep talking to me about this enrollment cliff. We don't see it for Florida Polytechnic because the demand for our students is so great, and because I'm telling you, not everybody, but many, many people want to get into AI, cybersecurity, data analysis. They want to become a mechanical engineer, a chemical engineer, a civil engineer. We believe the pool is right. And even this year, we're seeing that based on our stats, the fall is going to be a tsunami here. We're concerned about having enough room in our residence halls. We're looking at building Residence Hall 4. We moved into Residence Hall 3 in the fall. We're at 85% full now in all residence halls here. And so I think the growth is big time, but here's the deal, Joe. Here's the deal, Christy. We have to keep up with the programming, the relevant programming that meets the needs of business and industry. So we're standing up a new degree in physics. We're locking arms with medical schools to be able to create the best and brightest that come from here into medical schools with guaranteed, not only guaranteed interviewing, but guaranteed placement if our students are successful here. We're looking back into the pipeline behind us in the state college system and saying to them, what can we do as an institution with a partnership? It may be shared faculty. How can our faculty help your faculty teach STEM education in a better way? These are challenges for us. And so I think we will be standing up new programming, helping faculty at the K through 12 level, at the 2-year level, teach STEM better and create a seamless pathway all the way through. We're opening up in partnership with Disney, a new entertainment engineering program. We're very excited about that. That will benefit SeaWorld, Universal Studios, Busch Gardens. All of them work very closely together. And so we see that as something really big for us. And then a new program probably in the health sciences. That's the one area our university hasn't been as forward thinking about, in my opinion. So we now have partnered with Lakeland Regional Hospital to help doctors patent and create health devices, moving into pharmaceutical engineering, biomedical engineering. We've got 2 big hospitals coming into Lakeland, Florida. As you know, Polk County is the fastest growing county in Florida and one of the fastest in the United States. This place is blowing up. So I want to be ready and prepared. And so we believe the healthcare piece of that. So programming and keeping it relevant is going to be important to us. You asked about higher ed and the future of higher ed. And here it is for me. For years, we talked about transformational leadership, transactional leadership. We've talked about autocratic leadership, democratic leadership, but now more than ever, being effective at change leadership and managing change is where I believe presidents have to reside. And that is, you cannot, who was it? My grandfather said that, what is it? Some minds are like cement. They're thoroughly mixed up and permanently set. And
Love that.
And so you can't be thoroughly mixed up and permanently set. As a change leader, you got to wake up every morning, Joe, Christy, and you've got to say, help me see the possibilities today before they become obvious to others, and expect there to be change coming at us. My grandmother said there are 3 constants in life: death, taxes, and change. And so if you're ready for change and you can respond and react to it, you're going to be successful. And that's what I'm trying to build here, is a culture among our people that things are not going to be the same. They're going to change, and we have to be responsive to them. And Abraham Lincoln also said it better than anybody: the best way to predict the future is to create it. And so we're changing, but we're also going to create our future. We're not going to let people speak into us and tell us what we're going to do. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to modify as we assess what's happening and be change leaders, be effective at change leadership.
Christy, what did you think of this episode?
Well, first of all, I don't know if they all go this well, but I thought it was fascinating. And I just love listening to you, Devin. You're one of my favorites. I'm thrilled that you're in this new role with Florida Polytechnic, and having seen that institution go up, 10 years ago, as they were building the spaceship, visiting it early in its life, and now where it's headed. I just think you're right. You're building the future. You're building it right there in Florida. Cool.
And the one thing neither one of us has even said is we love Ellucian, and we love Banner SAS, and we're excited about standing up Banner SAS. And I will tell you, we're ahead of schedule on getting it moving. Our IT department's working great with your people, and so I want you to know that we love the product. I've been a user of the product for many years, both colleague and Banner in a number of institutions. And I want to thank you for your strong support in helping us to be able to manage all the stuff that we manage as higher ed administrators.
Yeah, it's a lot of change. So if we could just be a small part of that change in the technology footprint, we're happy to do it. So
also, you can't serve students today if you don't have your technology right. The expectations are, you better have your stuff together. That's all I got to say.
Imagine working at an all STEM institution.
Yeah, exactly.
These students are so far ahead. I mean, I'm going to just tell you, if I want my phone fixed or my iPad, I just grab one in the hall and say, come in here, fix this.
Yeah, they take it apart with all little screws and stuff. I guarantee it. Yeah.
So you've got to come to the campus, but we are the skateboard capital of Central Florida. All of our students are on skateboards, and they bring the skateboards. They'll spend one semester in an engineering lab, and they figure out, I can put a motor on this thing, and I will create the motor. And so they're running around on these motorized skateboards all over the campus. It's just crazy. And they're building them and installing them themselves. It's crazy.
Well, I do want to go to the judges. We had a little mix up at the beginning. Christy introduced the guest before I did. I mean, I'll never let her forget it. But I do have to go to the judges to find out how she performed on a scale of 0 to 100. Let me see what the judges say.
100%.
Hey, Christy, still get 100.
I didn't know I got judged. Oh.
I like it.
I can't tell you about the judges. They're behind the scenes. Ladies and gentlemen, she's my guest co-host today and an amazing human being. She's Christy Siegel. She's VP of Business Development at Ellucian. And she is the facilitator that brought us our guest today. No, he is your guest today. He's the one and only Dr. Devin Stephenson. He is the president of Florida Polytechnic University.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Devin, we hope you had a good time.
I had a great time, and I want to come back sometime. It's been great.
You can come back anytime, my friend. You can be my co-host next time.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Well, yeah. I think he should be the co-host. We finally get Henry when he's not busy. Because
that would be something else. Christy, why don't you just take over the hosting? You host and you host those guys, and let me listen. That's the deal.
You have to do the effects.
No doubt, I'll do it. Well, there you have it, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just EdUp'd.